Helicopter pilots spend most of their time flying below 3,500 feet, the very airspace that birds claim to be their territory. In this high bird density zone, when the birds meet the intruding helicopters, they act like missiles, and the outcome is often catastrophic. According to statistics, more than 90% of bird strikes occur below 3,500 feet, exactly where helicopters fly most of the time. Slow-speed flying, hovering operations, and flying close to terrain increases their exposure. And unlike fixed-wing aircraft, a single impact to the rotor blades, tail boom, or windshield can instantly become a real emergency. Helicopters move in and out of high bird density areas, like wetlands, coastlines, forests, rubbish sites, and open farmlands. Their exposed rotor systems, tail booms, and windscreens make them vulnerable to even moderate-sized birds. And because helicopters are inherently less stable than fixed-wing aircraft, a pilot's startled reaction to a sudden strike can be enough to trigger a loss of control. In 2022, a Bell 206L helicopter in New South Wales struck a wedge-tailed eagle at about 500 feet. The bird hit the helicopter just below the left windscreen. The startled pilot's abrupt control input caused the main rotor to slice through the tail boom, breaking the helicopter apart in flight. The helicopter impacted terrain and was destroyed. The pilot, who was the sole occupant, was fatally injured. In another incident in 2025, a Bell 206L3 Long Ranger helicopter struck a large eagle in remote Northern Territory, Australia. The bird penetrated the cabin, fatally injuring a passenger. Investigation determined that even windshields rated for 1 kilogram birds can fail when hit by a 3-kilogram eagle at high energy. So what can pilots and operators do to reduce the risk? First of all, it's essential to understand high bird density areas along the planned route: wetlands, coastlines, refuge sites, and wildlife sanctuaries. All pose increased hazard. Whenever possible, avoid these areas altogether. If you must cross a coastline or river system known for bird activity, do it at a 90-degree angle so that you spend the least time in the risk zone. Next, use landing and strobe lights during low-level flight in areas where bird activity is likely. Birds often react to visual cues, giving them a better chance of seeing and avoiding the aircraft. After takeoff, climb promptly to a higher altitude when terrain and mission allow, and reduce speed in known hotspots. A slower helicopter gives both the bird and the pilot more reaction time. For operators, it is recommended to consider bird strike-resistant windscreens and protective design features wherever possible. Even though such standards were originally developed for transport category rotorcraft, however, any additional protection significantly reduces risk in critical areas like the cockpit. And finally, if a bird strike does occur, no matter how minor it seems, land as soon as practical, because rotor blades, tail booms, transmissions, and flight control linkages can all suffer hidden damage that may not be immediately obvious from inside the cockpit. To summarize, we can say that bird strikes in rotorcraft operations are a real and serious threat. Helicopters operate in the same airspace that birds occupy, and the consequences of a strike can be severe. But with better awareness, smart planning, responsible speed management, visual aids, and good operational judgment, pilots can significantly reduce their vulnerability. Remember, you can't control the birds, but certainly you can control your own risk. Stay alert and fly safe. Thanks for watching.